They circle overhead, eyeing the ground below, as their feeding tray is topped up with a heaping of mealworms. Just seconds later, beautiful blue-colored birds have scooped up this food to bring to their young. It's an amazing sight, considering these birds haven't existed on Vancouver Island for 2 decades.
They really started to decline starting in the 50s. And the cause for this decline is basically loss of suitable breeding habitat.
These western bluebirds often breed in Garry oak trees, an ecosystem that's been rapidly declining the last few decades. But the Cowichan Garry Oak Preserve makes for the perfect place to bring them back.
We brought 17 bluebirds last year from nearby Washington State, where they have a much stronger population, and released them. And this year we've released 28 birds. And we now have 5 active nests, and we think there'll be more later in the summer as well.
It's a successful beginning for this 5-year project of reintroducing the western bluebirds to the island. But Julia Daly says it's not just the decline in Garry oaks that's the problem. They're competing with European starlings and house sparrows for nesting cavities. So that's where these nest boxes come in.
So these are our bluebird nest boxes. You can see they're made out of cedar. Inside this nest box happens to be the first western bluebird nest to be built on Vancouver Island in almost 20 years. This is from last season, and we had 5 little bluebirds that fledged from this nest box last year.
Since then, many bluebird families have settled in these nest boxes, some on private property. Don Carson and his wife not only decided to host several boxes, but they even released the birds on their land.
They brought birds here that had young with them. So again, once they were ready and flying around in the aviary, they opened it up, and we hoped that they would stay around. In this case, they did. Since then, the parents have actually laid more eggs, so we have another set coming along, and we're hoping they'll do well too.
Not only is Don out feeding these birds 3 times a day, he's learning a lot about this animal that hasn't lived this far north for decades.
The exciting part is where you see the male making sure that they get the food instead of the sparrow. It shows the kind of nature at work.
We wouldn't be able to have such success with this project without the help of the community opening up their lands and to us for the bluebirds.
The plan is to bring in 90 birds from Washington and release them over the 5-year period, with the hope that many will return every summer to breed.
In mid-April, I was out surveying for bluebirds, and I came walking down this field right here, and I saw 3 bluebirds sitting on a wire, and I got out my spotting scope and checked their leg bands to identify which bluebirds these might be. And these 3 bluebirds happened to be ones that were fledged in this exact field here last year. It was amazing. It was just, yes, success.
In order to keep up with this success, we have to protect the rare Garry oak habitat. Julia also suggests hosting a nest box of your own. She hopes these efforts will bring this songbird back to Vancouver Island. In the Cowichan Valley, I'm Jen Muranetz.